Hello, my name's Anna and I'm from String Bean Puppets. I'm a puppeteer, so that means usually I'm busy putting on puppet shows and making puppets. Unfortunately, at the moment, I can't perform puppet shows, so I'm busy at home in my workshop making puppets. And I thought today I'd show you how to make one of the puppets from one of my shows. So the show is called Once in a Full Moon, and it's about a Kiwi who thinks that the moon is a giant egg. Some of you might have already seen this puppet show, but if you haven't and you're curious, you can see an excerpt of it on YouTube. But I do have one of the puppets here who'd like to say hello before I start the workshop. This is the Kiwi puppet. Oh. The Kiwi says that he's feeling a little bit hungry. Do you know what Kiwi like to eat? They like to eat Huhu Grubs. So we're going to be making some Huhu Grub puppets today. This is the Huhu Grub puppet from my show. It's a string puppet. That means it moves because I move the strings. Can you see how many strings are on the puppet? It's just one looped over string, so it's a really easy puppet to make. To make this puppet, all you need are 2 stones. They should be roughly the same size. And a piece of fabric. My piece of fabric is about 1/2 meter by 15 centimeters, but you can use a smaller piece of fabric. You'll just get a smaller Huhu Grub, and you might need to use slightly smaller stones. Your piece of fabric can be any color, it doesn't have to be white. You could be making a caterpillar, a worm. It doesn't have to be realistic, so it can have patterns, be bright colors, whatever you have at home or whatever you'd like to use. And then just 2 loom bands or elastic bands. If you didn't have any elastic bands or loom bands at home, you could use some string, or you could use a twisty tie from the kitchen. Now, take your fabric and your stone. You want to fold the fabric over the stone, the end of the fabric, so there is fabric hanging down below the stone. Yeah. Fold in the sides. Go. And then you're going to wrap your loom band, your elastic band, your piece of string, your twisty around nice and tight. So you want to really stretch that elastic band to wrap it around as many times as it will go, so it's on nice and tight, and the stone's not going to fall out. So you do the same with the other stone. Again, you've got the fabric below the stone, so you've got something for your elastic band to grip hold of to secure that stone in place. There we go. Now, my Huhu Grub didn't have a face, but you'd probably like to put one on. It gives your puppet a bit of personality and a bit of character. If you're using a white fabric or a light coloured fabric, you could use a felt tip pen and you could draw some eyes, a nose and mouth on, just like that. or if you had a hot glue gun, you could glue some bits and pieces on. I've got some double-sided sticky tape, so I'm going to just stick a few things on using the double-sided sticky tape. It doesn't matter which end you use to be the head of your Huhu Grub. You could have a look and see if one of the stones looks more head-shaped than the other, but it doesn't matter. So just stick on that double-sided sticky tape, peel off the top. There we go. I'm just going to stick on another piece as well, so I have lots of sticky surface to put the bits and pieces on. There we go. Now I've got some googly eyes, which I'm going to stick on. There we go. So you could stick your eyes close together, or you can stick them far apart. You can stick them down quite low, or up quite high. And you can see, depending on where you put the eyes, sort of change the expression of your puppet a little bit. If you didn't have googly eyes and you'd like to stick some eyes on, you could draw some eyes on a piece of white paper, cut them out and stick them on. I'm going to add a nose. Like that. So again, sort of you can play around with where you place the eyes and the nose in relation to each other to give a different expression to your puppet. Go. I've got a bit. I've got a bit of a pipe cleaner, so I thought, oh, I could put that on. It's a bit of an antenna, so it's more like a caterpillar now. A Huhu Grub. I've also got a bit of tinsel. Might put that on. There's some hair. So you can use whatever little bits and pieces that you have at home to create the face of your Huhu Grub or your worm or your caterpillar. You could make accessories for it, like little hats, little glasses, stick on things like moustaches, mouths. So that's my Huhu Grub. Now it's ready for some string. Do you remember how many strings the puppet needs? Just one. So you could use some wool or some fishing line or some strong sewing thread or some string. Whatever you've got at home will be fine. So I'll just cut myself a piece of string or a piece of wool. Now, if your Huhu Grub, if its tummy is sort of opening like that, you can use the string around the middle just to hold that all together. So I'm just laying that flat. So the first part of the string goes around the middle of the Huhu Grub, and you're tying the knot on the top of the body. There. See? And then the other part of the string goes around the neck. There you go. Now my Huhu Grub is all ready to wriggle. Wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. Wriggle. So I hope you have fun making your Huhu Grub, and after you're finished, you might like to put on a puppet show for your family. Bye.